Welcome to chat. Remember to guard your privacy and abide by our community guidelines.
I bet you I probably missed something.
Oh no, I'm so scared, you know. Community guidelines, what are those? Alright, let's go ahead and shut this thing down.
Ow.
Wait for some people to show up here and then we'll get right into it. So I'm just waiting here on the where do you want to install Windows screen. What's happening there, Steven? I figured you were going to be one of the first people to show up. Here's the new beast. The old ThinkPad T430s here. About to install Windows on this thing. Whatever install they had on there was in BIOS mode and not UEFI mode, so I'm currently in the process of fixing that. I might as well get it going now. It's going to take a while to install. It's a mechanical hard drive. So yeah, wouldn't exactly call this thing the base level ThinkPad because it does have the fingerprint scanner on it, and it does have the upgraded backlit keyboard, presumably when it was new. Yeah, the T430s had the different keyboard on them. They had this flat function row up on the top that actually removes some keys. Now, the one I have, the advantage to it is that it's backlit. So it's kind of like a MacBook Pro in that regard. That's one of the reasons why I got it, is because it has the backlit keyboard on it. But it also has the old style ThinkPad light on it if you want. So that's also a feature. And I just generally like the feel of these keys compared to my Inspiron. This is a much, much better keyboard, except for this goofy enter key, because, yeah, this has got something wrong with it. Yeah, I shouldn't be able to do that with the key, so somebody definitely screwed this keyboard over before I got it at the pawn shop. But luckily, that should be an easy fix, so I'll take care of that at some point in the future. So if not, I'll just buy a replacement keyboard in the future, because this one definitely, I mean, it's not abused, but she's definitely seen some typing. At least the backlight on it still works. So I'll give it that. It's not very bright, but it's not supposed to be. The worst part of this touchpad, all the coating has come off due to age and a lot of use. So I probably have to scrape all this crap off with a razor blade or something, but it's not too hard to do, so you can definitely fix that. And the touchpad still works fine, obviously, so. Yeah, what's happening there? So, the lid catch works. The DVD drive here on the side opens up, so that's working just fine. The battery works, so if I come back here and unplug it, the battery works. So that's definitely something. It has like 70-something% of total capacity left. I think it was like 72, I think. So, yeah. This keyboard was definitely not put back in the laptop properly. You can see this bit sticking up, so I definitely got to do something about fixing this keyboard and putting it back in the laptop, because that's supposed to be underneath this piece here and not bouncing around like it is right at the moment. So, yeah, somebody definitely did a half-assed job at fixing this ThinkPad. Does this have a touchscreen? No, it does not. We can answer that one right now. So, I mean, UEFI setup normally would load a touchscreen driver, but yeah. Anyway, this is not the fancy model. It doesn't have the NVIDIA Quadro graphics, but it does have the 1600 by 900 display. It does have the webcam. Like I mentioned, it does have the backlit keyboard. I believe it came with a 500 gig drive, 4 gigs of memory when it was new, although it has been upgraded, and a Core i5 3320M. Not the 3230M like I think some other models might have come with. This has the 3320M. So it's, oh, excuse me. It's a little bit beefier. Mormon was asking how much did it cost me. This was actually on sale at the store that I was at, because this was the sticker that came off of it. This was normal pricing for it, because this was one of the recent arrivals. But then somebody put it on sale because of the Valentine's Day sale they had going on. So I paid nowhere near this. I paid nowhere near that price. Turns out they had it on sale for $91, and after sales tax, it was like 97 something or another. So it wasn't too bad. So I figured for that kind of money, I can deal with this enter key and this quirk. This has been upgraded to 8 gigabytes of RAM. That's another reason why I got it instead of it, obviously sitting there, because this has been upgraded from 4 gigs to 8 gigs of RAM. It's just DDR3, of course, but it has been upgraded, so that is nice. And of course, it has the actually surprisingly nice screen on it, the backlit keyboard. And definitely the hard drive isn't the worst thing in the world. It's not the fastest, but it ain't the slowest either. I can work with it. And the hinges are actually in pretty good condition. They do have the usual type of play that these ThinkPads normally have, but they're not to the point where they're not going to like break off or anything like that. I have checked them. And on the back, the only other major cosmetic problem is that there's a little smidge of plastic broken around where the Ethernet jack is, but that's purely cosmetic. I believe the Ethernet port on this still works just fine. As you can see, USB 3 port there, mini display port. There's a powered USB 2 port, so you can plug something into this and it will charge regardless if the laptop is on or off, which is pretty nice. That is a feature of this I did like. VGA port with the screws, which is pretty cool to see. I didn't think that a laptop this new would have had this, but, well, especially for the T430s to have the VGA port with the screws, so that's kind of a nice touch. Usual typical ThinkPad barrel power connector, and then another USB 3 port right there, which I'm installing Windows on. That's the only downside, is this has that stupid one jack for the headset, which combines the headphone and microphones. I mean, I get it. A lot of headphones are starting to go to that nowadays, where they have one jack that includes both the headphones and microphones, but I still find it kind of annoying. So, oh good, UEFI is working properly now. That's a good sign. Because before it was coming up with a standard BIOS and not the UEFI stuff, so that's why I wanted to fix that. And I probably got to update the BIOS, come to think of it, but I'll do that once Windows is done installing. And, actually, it's not too bad. It seems to start up rather quickly, or at least it's starting up quicker than it was in the thrift store. So that's definitely something. Mormon's saying, I'm looking for a cheap laptop, and I'm not going to lie, the price is quite decent. Yeah, granted, look for one that's on sale, and try to find one that's in better shape than mine is. And don't worry about the backlit keyboard. That's just an amenity, but if it comes with it, then that's a bonus. But honestly, I would say stick to the standard T430, because then you're going to get a better compatibility list of CPUs. You get more ports, like a full-size display port for one thing, and it's a little easier to deal with the keyboard, although for that matter, the T430 and the T430s both use the same keyboard. A lot of people are telling me to mod this with a T420 keyboard, and I'm just like, not exactly feeling like it, because the thing is, you can put a T420 keyboard inside of a T430s, but you have to do some modifications to the connector to get it to work without shorting the keyboard and causing the keyboard to overheat or something like that, from when I was reading online, and I'm not in the mood for that. And besides, honestly, I like the backlit keyboard anyway, and if it's that big of a deal to me to where I need, if I need the extra keys, I'll just plug in a USB keyboard. It's not the end of the world. I don't really care that much, since most of the time this thing's just going to be used for typing up my main Word documents. I mean, this isn't the worst thing in the world. In fact, I actually really like typing on this. In fact, it's a lot better than my current school machine, and no, I'm not swapping it around, because this one's way more powerful. But my Inspiron 5570, I hate typing on this thing. This thing just has a terrible keyboard. I mean, to be fair, in its favor, yes, it is backlit as well. But, I mean, I don't really like it. God damn it. I don't like typing on this. It's just, it's got a plastic back plate, and, I mean, it's okay for what it is. I don't like it. There's not enough key travel comfortable to, but I'm trying to English, and I can't English. I guess I'll just Spanish, and I'm just kidding. I'm not going to do that for you guys, but, there's just not enough key travel to comfortably touch type for me with this machine. But I like it because it's got an 8th gen Core i5 with M.2 NVMe SSD in it, so it's actually surprisingly fast. So I'll forgive the keyboard because it's more powerful than this thing by quite a big margin. But I might just start using this thing for typing up my journals and my lab reports and everything, because the keyboard on this thing is just so much better. And to be honest, I don't really use the enter key all that much. But again, if it really bugs me, I'll just buy me another keyboard and pop it in here. It's not the end of the world. And then this doesn't really bother me all that much because I'm going to use an external mouse. And I'll probably make use of this fingerprint scanner if it's compatible with Windows Hello. It should be. I believe these got Windows 10 support, so should have Windows Hello support for that fingerprint reader. Anyway. Steven's going to have a backlit keyboard with his next computer. He's going to get an E6540 from Dell. Those are some pretty decent little machines. I remember, what was the machine I used? I think it was like a Latitude 7480. It was a little 14-inch Latitude, one of the newer ones. Had a different keyboard style to it. It was a 7th gen i7. Unfortunately, it was a dual-core hyper-threaded, but it was still a 7th gen KB Lake i7. And that thing was a pretty nice machine. I'm not going to lie. I mean, I don't like the construction of it because it feels too consumerish with the rubbery or the rubberized finish on it. I feel like it would wear off. I mean, it's not like this. It's like a lot thicker of a rubberized coating than these ThinkPads have on them. And that was one thing I didn't like, but otherwise the rest of it was pretty good. Keyboard felt pretty nice to type on. We had a smart card slot equipped on ours, and this was at my internship. I was working at In Situ, actually, and ours had the smart card slot option, so on and so forth. Mine had 16 gigs of RAM. I think my SSD was also a 256 gig NVMe M.2 something or another. It was encrypted, of course, because of where I worked. So on and so forth, but anyway. But yeah, that's the machine I used, and it didn't even... Did it have a backlit keyboard? I think it did. Yeah, it did have a backlit keyboard. That's right. I don't know why I'm going on about backlit keyboards, but whatever. I'm on that mood. My Aspire 3 certainly didn't. And to be fair, it did have a decent keyboard for what it was, but this is just so much better. So much better of a keyboard. But yours types pretty well too, to be fair. I mean, it's not too bad. I'd say it feels about the same as my Inspiron's keyboard. Although my Inspiron's still much worse because of the backlighting, and it has that stupid plastic back piece that it just types awful compared to this ThinkPad. I mean, I've gotten used to it because I've had it for about a month, but I just don't like it. This is a much better keyboard for typing on, and it should be as such. Anyway, my spiel about keyboard's over. We're waiting on Windows to finish installing here. Am I living away from my family? I assume I'm a college... Yes, I am a college student currently. I started beginning of this year, actually. And had to get rid of my MacBook Pro because it just didn't suit the college application need very well. I tried doing like boot camp with it and putting Windows 10 on it, and it ran fine, but there were some really annoying things about the way that boot camp worked that really kind of ticked me off. Because I used to have a 2015 13-inch MacBook Pro. So for starters, you didn't do the whole boot camp thing with a USB stick. It was all done internally on the SSD. So that was weird. Well, actually, first things first, yeah, you didn't need a USB stick. You just downloaded an ISO from Microsoft, actually, and then that's how it installed. Because what it would do is it would create a partition on the SSD of the MacBook Pro itself. I'm going to turn my case on real quick. My phone's dying already. I still don't know how this thing manages to lose over 60% capacity in like 14 minutes. Like, seriously, phone battery is just horrible. Anyway, so yeah, you would do an ISO. It would then partition the SSD right smack in the middle, and then pop in a NTFS partition right smack in the middle of the SSD for the Windows installer files. You would then install Windows on one half of the SSD that you selected inside of macOS, and then bada boom, bada bing, there you go, you got Windows 10 installed. And then that's where it also held the boot camp drivers. So you didn't do the whole external thing. So what I ended up having to do to get Windows on that machine and completely just have it as a Windows PC, what I ended up having to do was first install Windows, because you had to do that. And then while it was in the process of doing updates and whatever, I had to copy all the boot camp stuff off that hidden partition onto a flash drive for backup purposes. Because once you rebooted, it would unmount that partition and it wouldn't assign it a drive letter. It was really goofy. So, actually, and it keeps getting worse, because I went to go reboot to go reinstall Windows and wipe out the Mac partition. Well, that went just fine, but this is where it starts getting strange, because where that boot camp partition was placed on that SSD was right smack in the middle. So annoyingly, I had to wipe out the Mac OS install Windows onto that, do the boot camp stuff, and then when I got into Windows, I had to take out that boot camp partition, and then I could extend the NTFS partition to the rest of the SSD because of the fact that it was right smack in the middle, and really annoyingly too. You couldn't really move the partition table around like you can in Linux. It was the most annoying thing ever. But luckily, I was able to figure it out. But that's not the only thing. I just wanted to vent on that a little bit because that kind of drove me nuts. The biggest thing that kind of drove me nuts about boot camping the 2015 MacBook Pro was the touchpad. It was annoying because the clicking just didn't quite feel right because it had the Force Touch trackpad on it. But not to mention, there was this really, really stubborn driver where if you so much as put your second finger on the touchpad, it acted like you were right-clicking. If you were like clicking and dragging something, you could not use your second finger, otherwise it would treat it as a right click. Drove me absolutely nuts. So I just couldn't have that feature. And not to mention the sound really kind of sucked. It ran too hot. There were some other things. The text was way too goddamn small because of the Retina display. So I just kind of ate it and just... You can shut up, Cortana. So I kind of just ate it, and I sold off the MacBook Pro to get the Inspiron. And overall, it's been a pretty nice machine. I'm not going to lie. It has been very nice. I'm not fond of that keyboard. I just don't like it, but I'll live with it because I've accepted that as being my class machine. And it is quite a bit more powerful than my MacBook Pro, being that I was going from a 5th gen i5 to an 8th gen i5. And the touchpad's about as good. I'd say the touchpad's just as good as a MacBook Pro touchpad, given that it's got Windows Precision drivers on it. And all that stuff. Let's see if this actually works. Yes. Oh wow, the voice setup actually works. That almost never happens.
Your keyboard is set to AUS. Want to stick with that?
Yes.
Do you also type with another keyboard layout?
No. I'm surprised this actually works.
Now let's get you connected to a network. That way you can get updates, apps, and now type your credentials.
Oh, the enter key is going to drive me a little nuts because it's really stiff.
Now type your credentials.
Ah, I typed it wrong. All right. Uno momento, por favor. If I can learn to type my damn Wi-Fi password correctly, that would be... Okay. Actually, I can take that out.
You're all linked up. Now we have some important setup to do.
I'm sure. Cortana says it's important, so it must be really important.
Now let's see what's new from Windows.
Nothing.
Candy Crush Soda Saga that is mandatory to download.
Now
Dun, 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 dun. This is going to be for personal use. This already has a Windows 10 Pro license, like I said. Well, Windows 8 Pro, but you can transfer it to Windows 10.
I'll catch up with you once that's done.
Okay. Please don't tell me you're going to make me do the two-factor authentication crap.
Set up a pin.
Does anybody else want to hear my rant about this stupid pin thing? Because I had an incident with my Acer Aspire 3 when I had to deal with this pin error. The most annoying thing ever. So if anybody wants to hear that, let me know in the chat. Because I'd be interested in actually telling you guys about how that really pissed me off. Yes, it was.
I remember that.
Where, you know what? I'm just gonna go ahead and say it anyway because it's on my mind and I'm thinking about it because it won't take too long. So what ended up happening was I restarted the this Acer Aspire 3 after doing a BIOS update, and Windows came up as per usual. And yes, only save it to my PC. Thank you.
Hey, look, that's me.
Whatever. I do use Cortana every once in a while, so.
Windows can see
Oh,
your spot in
oh,
apps,
there went the display
photos,
driver.
website.
Cool, I got a display driver.
These are the settings Microsoft recommends.
Okay.
Then review them and select
Find my
the
device,
ones
sure.
you're ready.
Don't,
And
don't,
select
don't,
accept when you're ready.
and don't.
Do not.
Anyway, so as I was going to go log in, shut up, Cortana. So as I was going to log in, what ended up happening was, after I put in my PIN, it came up with this error message and a hexadecimal error saying, we couldn't log you in because we couldn't find a PIN. So I was just like, okay. So then I went to go and set up a PIN, which took me to one of these just a moment screens. This is a very common theme with this. Oh, excuse me. So it took me to a just a moment screen. It then came up asking me, are you sure you want to reset your PIN? And I was just like, I don't have a choice. I have to, because otherwise my PIN doesn't work. So it's this redundant screen of, are you sure you want to set up another PIN? Or no, are you sure you want to reset your PIN? When I already had a PIN set up and it couldn't find it, even though it was already typed in and working. So that kind of didn't make any sense. So, it's okay. I went and I reset a PIN, and it then went back to the just a moment screen after that. But then another screen came up saying, oh, hey, let's create a PIN. And I'm just like, you fuckers, I just created a PIN. I literally just reset my PIN. And it's just like, are you sure you want to create a PIN? I'm just face palming. So, okay, create a PIN, because there was no other option. It was only just to create a PIN button. That's all I could do. So I clicked on that. It then came up with an error message saying an error occurred, because duh, obviously, of course, a PIN was already set. So I just said skip for now. It took me to my desktop, thankfully. And it came up asking me to sign in my school account because, you know, it needed me to verify my school account. So whatever. I typed that in. It went fine. So then I locked the computer because I wanted to make sure the PIN worked. So I pressed Windows key L. I did that. And I went back to the lock screen. It came up saying password in the box where you normally log in instead of saying PIN. I went to go click PIN, and it's just like, oh, hey, Windows Hello is a fast and secure way to log in your PC. So just type in your password, you can set up a PIN. And I'm just like, what the fuck? So I had to type in my password. I was taken to not one, but two just a moment screens. And then I had to reset my PIN again. Sat on another just a moment screen, and then took me to my desktop. And then, only after that, did my try to not swear here. Only after that did my PIN work. I'm just like, wow. I swear, every single Windows 10 laptop I've owned, minus a couple every once in a while. You're not helping. Every single Windows 10 laptop I've ever owned, minus the occasional one here and there, like the really old ones that I've put Windows 10 on, have always had some kind of a PIN error. But I've never had one that bad when it came to my Aspire 3. Like, that was just legit horrible. Absolutely horrible. So, anyway. 1 Megabyte Gamer, he was asking what kind of Bluetooth speaker is that. This is a Altec Lansing Mini Life Jacket Jolt, I think is what the model number is. I'd have to verify it in my settings. But yeah, it's like an Altec Lansing Mini Life Jacket Jolt. It's a waterproof speaker. Basically a 2.1 setup. This is the subwoofer on the back. It's got 2 tweeters on the front. It's got the voice supports built in. So if you want to use like Siri or Google Now or even Cortana for that matter, it does work. So that's pretty nice. It just sounds pretty good too. And it also has an aux jack and a big enough battery that it acts as a power bank if you really need it to. So that's pretty nice. Oops. Yeah. So yeah, here we are in Windows. Looks like it just updated the sound driver. I guess I'll go see... Oh, all the nice bloat's already installed. That's going to be fun to clean off. Yay, Candy Crush. What is it this week? Oh, just regular Candy Crush Saga. Oh, my favorite. Candy Crush Friends Saga. Because you can't have enough Candy Crush games, right? Gotta have them all. Your device is missing important security and quality fixes. Well, no shit, Sherlock. I just installed Windows. You don't say, right? You don't say. Let's make sure this is activated. Oh, good, it is. Very nice, very nice. All right. All right, as expected, there's a bunch of drivers. So our touchpad is probably the card reader. Management engine makes sense. Some kind of firmware update. That's a first. Cumulative update, Flash player update, .NET update, malicious software removal tool, and all the usual stuff that pops up when you first install Windows. And OneDrive's wanting to sync. I'm going to tell it no, because the only reason why I use this OneDrive client is for my school account. And I will set up my school account later. So what I'm going to do now while I have this open, I'm going to go tell this to unlink. And that way it won't use my personal Microsoft account with the OneDrive client, because I'll set that up with my school account when I install Office 365.
Jordan, Gears of War 4 is over 100 gigabytes.
Jesus, Murphy.
It's my biggest game on here.
Remember when Halo 5 on my Xbox had that over 150 gig update for no reason?
I feel like half of that was honestly a system update.
Okay, a little bit of a off-topic tangent here. I used to have an Xbox One, and I installed Halo 5 on the hard drive, obviously. And this was back in the days when I had HughesNet Gen 4, when I had a data cap internet. And believe me, yes, it was horrible. But anyway, so one of these days I had to cancel an update to play the game, because otherwise it wanted to install this ginormous update that I couldn't install because it would go through all of my data in like an instant. Because I only had 50 gigabytes of data to work with per month, which, believe me, that sucked. But anyway, so, yeah, it came up one day when I brought the Xbox back online, and it's like, hey, you want to play Halo 5? You got this, like, 158 gigabyte update to install. I'm just like, what the F word? It didn't make any sense. Because I only had a 500 gig Xbox, and it would take more storage than the Xbox had free to install this update. I don't know why it was so large, so... That's pretty funny. I didn't end up actually installing it, but it's pretty funny. Oh, that was way back in the day when you only had your Xbox One S for like a month, I think.
Something like that.
Yeah, he only
The
had...
first game I got
Yeah.
was Halo 5.
Yeah, it was one of the very first games we bought for it.
And then the second game I got, I think, was the Master Chief Collection.
Right.
Guess what?
And it came with Battlefield 1 because we got the Battlefield 1 bundle. You get that with Games for Gold this month, or?
No. I got Game Pass for $2.
Oh, nice.
So I've got it for 2 months.
Well, that's awesome. He just got Game Pass. That's pretty cool. I'll have to find some games that are on the store that we can download.
The cool thing is we don't actually have to go to the store. We can just go to the game.
Oh, that's
Pass.
convenient.
And there's a Game Pass thing that has all the games listed.
I forgot they did that in a recent update where they started putting all the membership stuff on the side. I remember when it used to just say memberships and everything was in one great big menu and it was a big mess. I remember those days about the Xbox One. Anyways, Mormon asked a question. I kind of got off topic, but do you let the Windows update automatically? I always disable that feature. Honestly, if you do the updates at first, yeah, there's my dark mode finally. If you just do this initial run of updates and get it out of the way, they usually don't bug you. And as long as you don't hit the check for updates button on a regular basis, it's not going to be a big issue. I have never had an issue with it on my regular machines anyway. And generally speaking, it doesn't really bug you unless your system isn't on very often or you don't restart it very often. Because in the case of my school machine, if I have some downtime, I'll usually go check for updates on a non-critical day. If I've already done all my labs or homework or whatever, I usually just go and check for updates. And generally speaking, there's like a security update or a cumulative update, and I just get it out of the way. And to be fair, there's only a major cumulative update every month. So most of the time, you don't even have to worry about it. The one the one time you have to worry about updates is with this pesky thing.
And to be fair, we're not going to have any downtime for a while.
Yeah, because... good God, yeah, we've been canceled school day after canceled school day after canceled school day. because of the weather. Yeah, we're gonna be to be blunt about it, screwed. We're gonna be screwed because I think tomorrow we're definitely gonna have class tomorrow, given that the weather's warmed up, and we're just gonna be screwed with a bunch of classwork, so it's not gonna be fun. So that's definitely gonna ruin the rest of the quarter, given that we barely had any free time to. Yeah, exactly. We barely had any free time, as it was. So kind of a bit of a sucky thing, but it is what it is.
Thanks,
Anyway.
Washington.
Yeah, thanks, Washington. 1 Megabyte Gamer, he was asking, this may be personal, but may I ask what school you go to? Well, I go to Perry Technical Institute here in Washington. You can look it up yourself if you're interested. And I'm currently in the ITCS program. So it was really important to get something that was actually powerful for doing my schoolwork. So that's why I got this Inspiron with the 8th Gen i5 in it. Sunflowers Bloom in Dark is asking, do you use your own or a school-provided laptop for schoolwork? The nice thing is that you can use your own laptop. They don't specifically issue out school laptops. I think they used to, but they don't anymore. They allow you to purchase your own laptop that meets the requirements, and you can bring it in and use it. So, generally speaking, you just need something with an Intel i5 in it, at least. They recommend 8 gigabytes of RAM, and it runs Windows 10, has an up-to-date antivirus for the most part, and is compatible with Microsoft Office. And in my case, we specifically need Microsoft Visio, which is provided on our tuition. So Office 365 University and Visio 2019 is all paid for in tuition. So luckily, I can just install it on whatever machine I choose to, for class purposes, of course. And bada boom, bada bing, there you go. Is this done yet? Everything's pending a restart. Yeah, let's just restart. I think everything's done. So I'm probably thinking I'm going to set this up to be used for typing up my documents, because the Inspiron I'll do the brunt work with, because it has a 1080p screen and it has all my software already on it. And it's a good bit more powerful than this one is. So I'm going to be using it for all my graphic designing, schematic building, and all my main work that I need to get done. And then we'll also have this probably as a spare machine just in case something happens. But then we'll have an extra that's already got all the software on it that we need, which will be nice. And so far, it seems to be very responsive, given that it has a mechanical hard drive in it. So that is definitely one thing I will give it. Yeah, she doesn't seem to be all that slow. Seems to be a lot faster, actually, now that it's in UEFI mode, because I remember in BIOS mode, it was just horribly slow, or whatever install it had on there previously was just horribly slow. But it seems like now that I got a fresh install going, she's definitely quite a bit more quick. Oh, that's an interesting flickering pattern on the LCD there. It's definitely a lot more responsive. Of course, that's partially because of the UEFI making everything a lot more responsive, a lot more seamless. Oh, that is one hell of an interesting flicker pattern. I'm going to see if I can get the brightness up here, overcome that. There we go. So yeah, this is at max brightness. It definitely is reducing the exposure on my camera, so it's definitely a bright screen. And the screen itself doesn't have any noticeable damage on it. There's no obvious press marks or keyboard scratch marks over it. The backlighting is all even. There's no liquid damage, so somebody definitely took care of this. I will give it that. I mean, the keyboard is a kind of an eyesore, because I don't know if anybody's ever really seen this part yet in the video, but somebody definitely did not put this keyboard on properly. So I definitely got to take this keyboard off and fix that. So that's going to be fun to deal with. But I'll take care of that eventually when this is all set up and done and all that stuff. And I especially got to take care of the stupid enter key, because it's not attached properly. So anyway, Christopher Stover is asking, is there any specific computer you'd like to mess around with if you had the chance? Oh, it'd be my Power Mac G5 Quad. that would be the biggest machine I want to take a look at, because I just like old PowerPC stuff, and I gotta get the water cooler serviced in that thing, or at least looked at. I gotta take off the G5 cover, and I gotta inspect the water cooler, because I'm not sure if there's no fluid in mine to begin with, or if it's already like if it's like already leaked out, or if it's clogged. Because it may have already leaked out, or it could have been clogged. I don't know. Either way, I know that it's not working properly, and hopefully nothing's damaged. So I'm gonna have to, when I get the extra cash on the side, nothing that, you know, like I'll have to really like spend on bills or something in the future, then I might start calling around some shops, and I might see if there's somebody who's willing to work on a G5 quad and service the water cooler or whatever. Because it's probably not going to be one of the chain retailers. It's going to be a mom and pop thing. Or maybe I'll even do it myself, because then I can save a bunch of money that way, because G5 quads are not the cheapest machines to work on. I will say that much. But I can say that I do have a G5 quad, so that's not something everybody can definitely say. And definitely one that works. Mine still does happen to work. And it's in pretty good shape too, cosmetically. I don't have any stupid dents like my 99-cent G5 used to have. Well, still does have. I still own it. It's just back in town, 70 miles away, but I digress. But yeah, it's like pretty much mint, except for a couple of cosmetic like nicks in the case or scratches or whatever, but definitely like it's not dented. It's not having all the welds or, welds. It's not like coming apart at the seams. I'm sure people have seen all these G5 videos where they got shipping damage, especially mine. Oh, mine was horrible. So, yeah. So all the updates, as far as Windows is concerned, should be done. Hopefully. You're not up to date. I must have just installed the touchpad driver then, because probably one of those updates failed. As these things happen. Whatever. I'll probably take care of the rest of that off camera. But yeah, she's definitely responsive on a mechanical hard drive. That I was not expecting. So this drive must be in good health too.
I guess you could say you weren't expecting that.
Jesus. One thing I am going to try running is Crystal Disk Info. I want to check the smart data on that drive. I have clicked into a text box that might help too. Crystal Disk Info.
Inver.
Portable.
Put that inver down.
This enter key is kind of a bugger, but I'll make it work. Okay, we're just going to download the portable version of this, because I can't be bothered to get the full version and install it to the computer, because I only need to really check the disk health once. Alright, we're going to save that. There's nothing more enjoyable than installing a new operating system. Hell yes, I can agree to that. Especially when, especially if it's your own computers that you're working on. Then it's especially enjoyable. But yeah, given that this thing was pretty much like 50% off at the pawn store, I couldn't just let it sit there and wait for the sale to end on the 17th. I had to pick it up. I mean, I didn't have to, but I wanted to rescue this thing and give it a good cleanup. She looks so much better now. I mean, there was sticker residue all over this palm rest. The screen was dirty and had a bunch of dust all over it. The keyboard still needs to be fixed, but I'll take care of that eventually. That's definitely on my priorities list, because that's going to drive me nuts if it's not fixed. And it seems like it's not overheating. I mean, I can feel a little bit of warmth, which is normal. So that's definitely a good thing. And the screen's in good shape. The hard drive appears to be functioning properly. It has a good functioning copy of Windows. And the battery works.
Maybe I should slam my door too.
Yeah, we have this issue here at the dorms where people slam their doors. It's irritating. Especially at nighttime when they do it, it's extra irritating. You're sitting there in bed trying to go to sleep, and then wham! Just echoes all the way down the hallway. Somebody just slamming their damn door. It drives me nuts. Especially because I already have a hard time getting to sleep, and it doesn't help. Anyway, so let's see if this launches. It's probably not helping the fact that it's probably... Yep, it's redoing the stupid cumulative update. Putting it on your bed increases the chances of it overheating. Not exactly. I have my iPad underneath it, holding it up and keeping the vent clear. So, it's not totally on the bed. I mean, only this half's on the bed, but it's not, there's no, like, stuff on it. Does that school have fiber? I don't believe it does. It has really good business internet, but I don't believe it has fiber. We're not that fortunate. I mean, it'd be nice if it does, but, you know, I don't think we're that lucky. And to be clear, probably also doesn't help that there's a bunch of DNS blocks on the network, so you can't do a bunch of things, which makes sense because it's a school network. Did we just not install for whatever reason? I'm not seeing it. Okay, so I guess we go and do some more digging, and we figure it out. Oh, duh, it's right there in the folder. What am I doing? I'm an official dumb. It's a portable app. It's in the downloads folder, you smart person. Oh, that's a good sign. We have the good health status. That's a good sign. It does have some cache memory on it, so that's probably why it's pretty dang quick. Power on count, 1,753. Oh, it's also a 7,200 RPM drive. That's nice. You don't see a lot of 7,200 RPM 2.5-inch drives. That I was not expecting. Power on hours look pretty good at 13,456 hours. That's not terrible. Looks pretty good. She definitely has some good numbers. Very good numbers. A lot of zeros in there, so that's definitely a good sign. Only 5 reallocated sectors. That's not the worst thing I've seen. So I'll probably do some disk checks with this just to make sure it's all hunky-dory. Although, to be fair, it does have spare sectors, so they've probably already been used, so it should be fine. Otherwise, everything's looking good. Everything's looking fantastic. So this is one pretty healthy hard drive, so that's definitely a good sign. And the battery's definitely coming up. Looks like it's just... Don't. All right, there we go. Does the dorm have good internet? Is it the same as the schools? It turns out, actually, here at the dorms, they have guest networking, but it's got a even more tight DNS block. So what we actually did is we got our own internet. We went to Spectrum, actually, and especially for us students here at the dorms, they actually cut us a deal where we get, I think it was like 30 megabit internet for $15 a month. And they initially were going to charge us a bit more for like the equipment. The modem comes included, but they were going to rent out the Wi-Fi router and everything. And then they tried to slap phone service on top of that. But anyway, so we returned the router because we actually took our old router from the HughesNet days, Netgear dual band Wi-Fi. I think it's an AC 300 megabits a second maximum router, I think. It wasn't the highest end router, but it wasn't the cheapest end either. It's a fairly medium to high end model. It does have Wi-Fi, AC, dual band, all that nice stuff. Anyway, that's off topic. So we were able to shave off some money off of our bill. I think $10 a month. Or was that the phone service? I can't remember. Anyway. No, that's right. When we took the router back, that was a $5 credit into the account of mine because it's in my name. And the phone service that they stupidly put on there, when we turned that off, that was another $10 put back into our account because they already charged me for the first month when I was ordering it, which is fine. So that money went back into my account. And so basically my first month's payment, well, technically second month payment, was actually like 65 cents. It was hilarious. I was looking at my invoice and I saw 65 cents was due, so it's pretty funny. But anyway, so yeah, 30 megs for $15 a month. So, I mean, that's not too bad. They were trying to upcharge us to like a 100 meg connection for like, what was it 50 something a month? 60 a month. That was including the phone service as well, I think. So, yeah, definitely we talked them down quite a bit. And it works pretty well, actually. Never had major cutouts or whatever ever since we've had it. So $15 a month, it's pretty easy to keep up on. So works pretty well. I know a lot of people, they talk shit about Spectrum, but I haven't had an issue with it. It seems to work fine, so it is what it is. It's better than the guest network. The guest network cut out a hell of a lot worse. And then not to mention you couldn't play games on it because it's a school network, so obviously it makes sense that they would not let students do that. So anyway, I pay $60 a month for a 40 megabyte internet. Oh, that sucks. Hey, to be fair, we used to pay $130 a month for 15 megabit internet with a 50 gig data cap. I am not kidding. That's how much it cost. For 15 megabits per second download speed, 2 megabits per second upload speed, and a 50 gig data cap was over $130 a month. So don't feel bad. Anyway, rant over. HughesNet Gen 4 rant specifically. Steven was saying, I would get your own modem, more money you can save. Well, that's not technically something that we're charged for. The modem comes included, so we don't have to pay for that. So we got out of that one. So I don't have to worry about paying for the modem. The only thing that we were paying for was the router. The router that we brought up, that was to specifically prevent being charged an extra $5 a month. So, yeah, the cable modem's fine. Don't have to worry about that. Anyway, Mormon was like, that's a ripoff. Yeah, HughesNet was indeed a ripoff. The biggest fucking scam in history besides CenturyLink. We had to deal with a stupid 2-year agreement as well. Wasn't fun. So, well, CenturyLink isn't much better, but at least it doesn't have a data cap. But they tend to not have very good, respectable business practices. We'll just leave it at that. Or I'm just going to leave it at that. Okay, this cumulative update's now done, so let's restart again. But this is noticeably more responsive than my Asus X75 VD that I used to have, which was an i5 3230M. It's a little slower than this one's i5 3320M. Same clock speed, but just a much better CPU design. And actually, it had more RAM than this thing. It had 12 gigs versus this thing's 8 gigs. Not like that makes a difference, but whatever. Anyway, but it was noticeably slower. And I don't know if it's just because the hard drive I had in there was a lot slower, but this thing definitely has a little bit more performance to it because of that 7200 RPM drive. So I will give it that. And it'd be even faster with a solid state drive, but today I'm not really worried about putting an SSD in this thing because it seems to do what it needs to do in a reasonable amount of time. So I don't really mind waiting for a hard drive as long as it picks up, as long as it works reliably and has the capacity I need. I don't really mind waiting because I used to use way back in the day, actually, like in oh god, I think it was like 2012, I think, or something like that. Maybe it's a little older. I used to use a Pentium 2 400 megahertz with 768 megabytes of RAM on Windows XP on the modern internet running Google Chrome. And yeah, that was my main machine for a little while. That's what I had to watch YouTube in 240p on because my main system at the time had gone down, and that was the only machine I could use was my compact Persignia with a Pentium 2. And you'd be surprised it wasn't actually as slow as it was actually a lot quicker than I thought it was going to be, and it probably was because of that 768 megs of RAM. Of course, that was back in the days before Google Chrome required SSE, so you could run it on a Pentium 2. So that's just how old that memory really is. Because I think Google Chrome required SSE in like 2011, I think. Oh god, it was so long ago. But anyway, yeah, I had to suffer on that machine for a while. It took like a good minute and a half at least just to get the login screen, maybe a little longer. And that was on a really fast IDE hard drive. I think it was like an Ultra ATA 100 or something like that. So, yeah, she was definitely not the perkiest machine. But it did run, and it did run pretty well. And I think my GPU at the time was a GeForce FX 5200 because that was all I had. And definitely was bottlenecked because it was on an AGP 2X bus and it was an AGP 8X card. So it was definitely getting bottlenecked. But at least it worked well enough as a display adapter that, you know, Windows XP didn't really care. So, yeah, that's what I suffered on for quite a while. It wasn't as bad as you thought. Like I said, I was able to watch 240p YouTube at the time. Definitely not something you could do nowadays, but back in that day, you actually could before web browsers started to get insanely stupid and bloated and all that stuff. Would I do it again? Absolutely not. These days, Pentium 4 struggle with like 360p, so it's not really worth it.
Worth it?
It's not really that worth it to do a penny. Although that would be a...
Worth it?
Are you worth it?
Nope.
Okay. Okay. That would be a pretty interesting experiment to do, though, would be to try to use a Pentium 4 in modern day, 2019. Personally, for me, I would do the Linux route just to make it more interesting. And the only reason why I would ever do that is because I would find a 64-bit Pentium 4, and yeah. Well, you can add the add-on H.264 and make YouTube use a graphics card. I tried that, and it made my playback worse. So that didn't help matters any. I'm serious. It made my playback worse on a machine that actually played HTML5 better than it did on Flash, or H.264. I meant to say, whatever. I can't say the stuff right. You know what I mean. Anyway. Yeah, it didn't work nearly as well on H.264 as it did with just a standard VP9 or HTML5 player. I don't know why. You would think H.264 would work a lot better than the HTML5 stuff, but it didn't for me, at least on the machine I tried it on. And it was certainly an older machine. It wasn't a newer one, so I don't get what the deal was. I don't know if it was because I was using Firefox Quantum at the time. It could have been that Firefox didn't have an optimized port of the plugin. It could have just been more optimized for Chrome. But regardless, you know, that was my performance. I might try it again with a different machine, and I might actually put Chrome on it and try the H.264 plugin again. But that'll be another day when I actually bring a machine up and have the room for it. But for right now, I'm going to deal with that XW6600 getting out of here before I bring another desktop in here, because I just don't have the room. And I don't want to be cluttering up this room with a bunch of computers that I'm never going to use. This is just not what I want to do. Granted, it is going to be some... Yeah. Although, to be honest, since my mom is actually getting her house sold, I kind of have no choice.
Well, but we can work with it.
Exactly. We'll find some creative places to put some things, and if not, I'll just be selling a bunch of stuff on the secondhand market, even if it means like $5 here, $5 there. It just means that there's less room being taken up by a bunch of old computers. I'll save the ones that are actually worth keeping, like the Desk Pro EN. I'm keeping that around because that machine's definitely in good condition. And I'll just scrap the compact. Thank you very much, Skype, for totally not interrupting my speech. But I'll keep the Desk Pro EN Pentium 2 around. I'll just take the 400 megahertz slot 1 thing from the Persignia, and I'll just scrap the Persignia because the Persignia is definitely not in as good a shape as the Desk Pro is in. So that'll definitely get rid of that machine, which is already a big, beastly machine. And the Desk Pro has about the same compatibility as the Persignia, the same memory maximum. I think they even use the same chipset. But anyway.
We should keep my Packard Bell.
We're obviously keeping the Packard Bell
That was
because
my first PC.
we're definitely hanging on to that machine. It's a Pentium 75, so we're definitely keeping a hold of that machine.
Even if it never goes up in value, it's just like nostalgia. So.
Exactly.
That's what I used to play Math Blasters on, man.
Hey,
Anyways,
I remember that game. God, that makes me feel so old now.
You're not old. You're 19.
Soon to be 20.
Okay. I'm going to be 19 before you turn 20.
I know we're getting up there in age, but anyway.
And we're also getting way off topic.
Exactly. But when am I never on topic on streams? That is a completely back-assward statement. Anyway, I like to talk about this stuff. Anyway. So yeah, we'll definitely be hanging on that Packard Bell Legend that I have in inventory. I'm probably going to hang on to my XP rigs, my HP A1477C and the Gateway GT4024.
At least one optiplex.
At least one of the optiplexes. Probably a GX270 because that's the most powerful. It has SATA ports. That's why. Still socket 478, but I'll hang on to at least one of them. Probably one of the better condition ones cosmetically.
Did you ever get rid of half of those? Because you had like 7 of them. I know we brought home like 4 that one time.
No, we brought home 7.
We did bring home 7. Brought home fucking a lot of optics.
Yes, we did. Yes, we did. The ones with empty chassis, I'm probably going to scrap because I just don't have a use for them. I don't know if they work or not, and they're not worth testing anymore, honestly. Let's just be honest. Optiplexes of that generation with the clamshell design are just getting too damn old. But I am hanging on to the GX150. I'm hanging on to one GX270. All the rest of them are going to probably go in the trash. I might hang on... Yeah, I might hang on to the Slimline GX240 because I could find a place to store that since it's actually quite a bit smaller. I could probably lay that or
What
find
about
a...
those PCs we got from the fire hall?
The eMachine Nettop, I can find a place for that. It's so small.
If you want to, I mean.
I still haven't made a video on that, come to think of it. I really should. I really should.
I think we did a small bit of a live stream on it, like you touched on it, but you never
yeah,
did a full video on it.
Exactly. I just turned it on and showed that it worked, and that's all I ever did with it. I definitely need to make a video on that eventually when I get to it. I'll probably make a separate video about my plans for video editing without a Mac. I'll have to figure something out. But that's another video for another day. I might actually get rid of the compact Presario 6708 because I can't seem to figure out that machine's quirks, and I don't have a place to put it because once I have the Desk Pro EN in here, I already have one ginormous compact. I don't know where I'm going to fit a second one.
We'll take your drawers out. We'll stack all your desktops in there. Then you'll put the drawers on top of the desktops.
Yep. where the shelf will just sit like this. That'll definitely work out in my favor. What other machine? I'll probably scrap the GX110 because I just don't have a place to put that thing, and it has a weird BIOS quirk where...
Sure, honest, we'll probably scrap a lot of the crap in there.
Exactly, because I just don't have the room for it. I'm going to be probably getting rid of a...
The Packard Bell I'll store in my closet because that's mine.
Right.
We'll have to keep one old CRT monitor just because.
What I might keep is my... the Dell monitor, because I got a Dell CRT with my Dimension XPS T500, and I think it has a Trinitron tube in it. It looks really good, so we'll probably hang on to that CRT because it has a functional stand and it's fairly small, so I can find a place to put it. I think it's actually a 1280 by 1024 CRT. I can't remember. I'll have to look it up.
Back to the topic of the live stream. Hey, look, we have installed Windows 10 on the ThinkPad.
Yep, she's all working. I do need to go to Lenovo's website real quick and find all the software for this. I don't imagine there's too much, but it doesn't hurt to go look anyway. I do know that they have Windows 10 support for this machine. They would have had to have. Lenovo. Whoops, if I can learn to type today. And all right. Oh, Edge is so slow. I should probably go put Firefox on this, but I'm too lazy to right now because Edge is so frickin' slow. Come on, Edge, let's go. Let's go. Jesus, Murphy. Yeah, we're definitely putting a different frickin' web browser on this thing. I did that with my grandma's computer because, holy crap, friggin' Edge is so slow on that computer. But Firefox is actually not too bad. So, yeah. I much prefer Firefox because I already have all my bookmarks on there, and it seems to use a lot less RAM than Chrome does. And Chrome just seems to take forever to start up on a mechanical hard drive compared to Firefox Quantum nowadays. Yeah, we're definitely going to be replacing Edge because Edge is just slow. Holy crap, is it slow. So yeah, this is definitely going to get the Firefox treatment for sure. It does not like downloading, and it could just be because I'm live streaming on YouTube. That could be why it's slow. I mean, generally speaking, I do have good luck with Edge on a good day, but I think it's because I'm streaming. Firefox drives me nuts with stuff not downloading. I have a bigger problem with downloading stuff in Chrome than I have ever had with downloading stuff in Firefox. And that's a weird quirk because it used to be when I had my really crappy internet connections that Chrome would just drop the downloads halfway through or something stupid like that because it just didn't have enough bandwidth, and so Chrome just gave up. But Firefox and, for that matter, Internet Explorer at the time would keep downloading stuff because Chrome would just drop. It just drove me absolutely nuts. Of course, I could probably install a download manager and I could get around that quirk, but still, like, that was the biggest thing. I mean, every web browser has its ups and downs, but personally, I mean, Firefox is the one I'll learn to deal with. Because I do like... Are you freaking kidding me? Why did this not come installed? Is this .NET 3? Yeah, it's .NET 3.5. So why the hell is it not installed? God damn it, Windows. I never understood that. I really never understood why they don't include .NET 3.5. A lot of things use .NET 3.5. It doesn't make any sense. Anyway, my stupid tangent over. Oh, there it is. Yay! T430s laptop, ThinkPad. Very, very nice. So I want to go get drivers. I am not fond of Lenovo's support website as of late. I'm not a big fan of it. There's no freaking way this has Windows XP support. Oh, you know what we're doing with this machine in the future. Oh, no. Oh, they even have 64-bit drivers. Oh my god. Okay. Yeah, we're definitely putting XP on this in the future. Patrick's probably going to hold me. Patrick's going to hold me to it. I know that for a fact. Oh no. Why I just cursed myself. But we're definitely doing that. Okay. So we want the BIOS update utility. It's like the latest one is 2.73. I don't know if that's what this has, but I don't really know. BIOS update utility is this one. I'm going to just take care of the BIOS update first and foremost, so that way it's out of the way. Holy crap, Edge. Can you download any slower? I'm going to blame the live stream for taking all the internet up. That's why it's so slow. I'll just blame the live stream for that. I mean, we only have 30 megabits of internet to work with, so I'll just blame the stream for hogging it all.
Is it being trashy?
It's either Microsoft Edge being dumb or it's my live stream pulling all the bandwidth. So,
Are you sure about that?
no, my live stream can pull some pretty heavy bandwidth too.
I'm saying, because I am downloading Shadows of the Tomb Raider.
That could be.
Let's pause for now.
Okay. Okay, well, it's done. It was like
Wow, magic!
yeah, because I don't think a 6.5 megabyte file should be taking over a minute to download. What about you?
Of course it should. Especially since we have 30 megabytes per second.
Yep. Alrighty. Once this .NET thing finishes, then it'll be great. Come on. I don't know what you're doing, Windows. For heaven's sakes. I hope that the resolution's not degraded, because my phone is running like super hot right now. So that's probably not helping. Luckily I got this battery case for it. It seems to be holding up really nicely. So that's good. That's good. I'm just going to go and let this finish before I run the BIOS update. Just because the BIOS update utility might want .NET 3.5. You never know. So I'm going to do it anyway and just let it finish. And generally speaking, it's not good to have stuff installing anyway when you're running a BIOS update, because it could fuck around with everything. It causes the utility not to run and so on and so forth. How's the thermals looking? It's not too bad. Yeah, the bottom of it's actually perfectly cool to the touch. So that's good. Sunflowers Bloom and Dark asks, what phone do you use? I use an iPhone 6S. And unfortunately, it's one of them that suffers from chipgate, where it's the Samsung version of the A9, not the TSMC version of the A9. So it runs super duper hot, and it uses a lot of battery. Steven's like, please keep the HP Pavilion that looks like mine. Of course, we're going to be hanging on to the HP A250N. Why wouldn't I? It's one of my favorite machines of all time. All right, cool. .NET 3.5 is done, so we can go and run this utility now. Yeah, we're definitely going to be hanging on to the A250N. Definitely. Okay, so we want to update ThinkPad BIOS. AC adapter is plugged in. Do not power off. That's fine. Let's see what we got. In the future, I would love to upgrade that machine to a 3.2 gigahertz Pentium 4. System program updates is continued by BIOS at the next reboot. Do not power off. Is it going to reboot automatically? I don't know if it is. I'm going to let it sit for a minute here and do its thing. Okay, cool. It is doing its thing. Okay. So, yeah, I might plan some upgrades for that machine. I might make that my ultimate Windows XP box for like everything I do. Although to be fair, it would have really serious competition to the to the A1477C and the Gateway GT4024. Very nice. Very nice. Do not turn off the computer during the update. Somebody on Twitter, I think it was Danowalked1, had a Lenovo IdeaPad, and it said that it would like beep every second that this BIOS update was occurring. I don't know what they did, because I've never had a quirk like that happen with these modern Lenovo's where the BIOS update would go beep, 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 beep. So, I don't know. I've never had a quirk like that. And I don't know if that's just those modern IdeaPads that do that, or if it's just pure coincidence, because I've never had an issue like that with any Lenovo machine. Sweet! Updated successfully. Very, very nice. Very, very nice. All right. Let's check the version number here. And there we go. Version 2.73 from November 28th, 2018. Perfect. Oh, it turned Secure Boot off. What the hell? Turned off Secure Boot. Oh, no, it is enabled. Oh, that's so weird. Okay. That's weird. Restore the factory keys, whatever. Knowing my luck, it's probably going to screw the whole thing up and I have to reinstall. That'll be funny. Not really. Luckily, I got my USB stick here just in case. I don't know why it was turned off. I forgot to take it out of setup mode. That's why, because I'm an idiot. All right, well, at least so far I didn't screw it up. That'd be terrible if I did. Steven was like, you should load Vista on it. That's why it did the mine. It runs very fast. I contemplated doing that because the CPU is fast enough that it can run Vista. And it does have the maximum of 2 gigabytes of RAM. Actually, fun fact, that motherboard that it has technically runs 4 gigabytes of RAM. You can put it in there, but HP only recommends up to 2 gigs because once you go past 2 gigs, it then starts to get unstable or something. It's not supported. So I thought that was kind of funny. But anyway, so the BIOS update's all done. So that's nice. Me and my really awesome hairdo here. I took this picture actually from the front-facing camera of my grandma's iPhone XS Max. And the front camera on that phone is just really dang good for what it is. It's a real nice front-facing camera. Of course, to be fair, that was an $1,100 phone, so obviously I would expect it to be, but that's beside the point. Okay, so the BIOS update's all done, so now I can go ahead and get the rest of the software installed on this. And I don't think I'm gonna. I'll have to find all the bloat. Mormon's all like, "You have a cool grandma." Yeah, she actually upgraded from a 5S to the XS Max. She had the 5S for, let's see, she got it just after the iPhone 6 came out, the 6 and 6 Plus. She got a 5S, and then I got a 5S. And she stuck with her 5S all the way until about a month and a half ago when she bought the XS Max. So yeah, it was quite a big update. The main reason why she went with the Max instead of the regular XS is because of the screen size. Because with the extra screen real estate that the XS Max has, we can turn the text size way up, and so it makes it easier for her to see the screen. And also, it means that she doesn't have to plug it in nearly as often. I mean, to be fair, she could have just went with a 10R and done it that way, but she does like the screen on the XS a lot better than the 10R. So, yeah. My grandpa doesn't even know how to use his flip phone. And that's the kind of the thing. My grandma's been fortunate enough to know a bunch of stuff about technology, so she's been actually very easy learning with iOS on... yeah, I mean, she had...
got a grandson that
yeah. Yeah. So she can pretty well use a lot of the functions of her phone, she manages to post to Facebook and all that stuff, and text, and she does an emoji every once in a while, and she does FaceTime a lot, but that's pretty cool. So yeah, she knows a lot about it, but she just couldn't see the screen very well on her 5S, and it was getting kind of long in the tooth anyway. It was getting kind of slow. To be fair, it started out its life on iOS 7.1.2, and then it was running all the way up until iOS 12.1, I think. Yeah, it was 12.1, because that was when we went in and got the XS Max, was when it was on 12.1. So yeah, it went from 7.1.2 to iOS 12.1, so she lived a really long life. She lived a very long life. Definitely $450 worth, because that's how much that 5S cost in full, was $450. And it lasted a long time, so definitely the 5S was one of Apple's best iPhones of all time. We'll just put it that way. So we'll see how well the XS Max holds up over the course of 4 or 5 years. We'll have to see. Anyway. Alright, my favorite thing to do. We're going to go through all these bloats. Candy Crush Saga, uninstall. Cooking Fever, uninstall. World of Volt 2, I do have that game, but I'll install later, so whatever. Township, unpin. Candy Crush Friends Saga, uninstall. My Office, well, actually, yeah, My Office, we'll uninstall that. Phototastic Collage, whatever the hell that is, uninstall. Fitbit Coach, uninstall. I'll unpin Netflix because it's not installed. Paint 3D, I'll uninstall because I don't use it. Keep that on there, whatever. And then OneNote can be uninstalled because I don't use it. And there we go. There we go. So, that's pretty cool. Looks like the touchpad's working already with the 2-finger scrolling, and it seems to be pretty good. At least for... I don't think this has a precision touchpad. It would be surprising if it does. I don't think it does, though. Let's find out together. Yep, this does not have a precision driver touchpad. I'm not surprised, because this machine's from 2012. Well, 2013 probably, but I digress. Okay, then the people icon can disappear. The Cortana search thing can just turn into an icon. And let's go install Firefox real quick, because that needs to be done, because Edge is proving to be a bit of a pain in the ass as usual. So let's go to, whoops, Firefox.com, whatever. Just something that downloads Firefox. And download now. And run. And unpin the mail icon from the taskbar because I don't use that version of it. And now I can unpin Edge. Yay! And now we just wait for this. I wonder if the store has any updates or if they've already been... Oh, yeah, it's got some updates, all right. No, okay. I guess we don't have 36 updates. We have 21 now. Okay. Whatever you say. Whatever you say. I'm surprised it actually has support for high-efficiency image format. I know it doesn't have support for the HEVC, because that's only on Kaby Lake chips and later, which my Dell will use for that. Anyway. iOS is pretty good for people who don't really know how to use smartphones. That is definitely something I can attest to. It is a little bit easier to teach. And I can personally attest to people who have Androids and they get so badly confused by it that they kind of just don't like smartphones and they say everything's horrible and all that stuff. Yes, I've had to deal with people like that before. It's not fun. But anyway. But, and then you get those people who have Androids and they say that iPhones suck, but then, and I've seen this so many times, where they just spam the back button to go back to the home screen when there's a fucking home button right there on the screen, right there in front of their eyes. And then they don't know how to use the multitasking feature, so again, they just primarily spam the back button. So it's just like, ugh! It's so aggravating. And then they always complain about how their phones are always getting viruses. Oh, this is another thing. They say that iPhones suck, but then in order to keep their phone running smoothly, they install like 6,000 different fake antiviruses from the Play Store, and then they wonder why their phone's so slow. And I'd be talking about like a Galaxy S9 in particular. Yes, I've had to deal with that, where somebody's phone was really badly slowed down, and it was a flagship. All because they installed a bunch of baloney from the Play Store because, oh, iPhones suck, and yet I got to have like 3,000 different memory management apps to keep my phone running smoothly, and everything has an ad. Yes, that's the kind of people I deal with. It's not fun. Anyway.
It's the most fun.
Yeah. That's why I despise Android. Well, there's other reasons, but that's one of them, is that there's a bunch of trash on the Play Store, and I don't care about it. And then everybody downloads it, and then they wonder why their phones are so crappy. Well, that's why. But anyway, that's my personal opinion. I won't get into the rest of it in this stream because I don't want to start a flame war in the chat. You use what you use, I use what I use, and we'll all be happy. Anyway. So I'll do the rest of the setup for Firefox later. I will deal with that stuff, actually. Let me go ahead and install Discord. That's something I can do. And I do change my search engine to Bing because I'm getting sick and tired of what Google's been doing lately. So I'm going to switch my default search back over to Bing once I'm done, because I primarily use that. I mean, to be fair, and I will say this, I do like Android for its customizability and the openness about the platform. And if it wasn't, I mean, I will say this, I do appreciate what Android does, and I would actually use it. I just don't want to use it as my daily smartphone platform. Well, I don't use DuckDuckGo. I'm not familiar with DuckDuckGo, so I'm going to use what I've been second familiar with, and that's Bing. And Bing's okay, but I still have to use Gmail, so I guess I have to, bite my tongue and deal with Gmail and Google and all that stuff. But I'll use Outlook for my Gmail purposes, not the Gmail website. But no, I haven't actually used DuckDuckGo before, so I'll look into it more in the future if that's something I really am concerned about. Oh, excuse me. But for now...
Maybe I should get back on Bing so I can get more Microsoft rewards points.
Yeah. Get back on Bing for Microsoft rewards points. Yeah.
That's all I use it for. It's just for free points.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm not a big fan of Google's all search spying crap and tracking and all that fun stuff, so... kind of starting to steer away from all that baloney. I mean, not to say that Bing wouldn't do it either, but at least I know where it's going. I mean, because I've been a Microsoft user ever since the old Windows 8 days. Actually, ever since the Windows XP days. But I have had my Microsoft account ever since they called it like a Windows Live ID. So that kind of dates back to how old my account is. I think I might have created it when I had my Windows 8 install on my Lenovo ThinkPad T60. I think that might have been when I created my Microsoft account. I can't remember. Oh, no. That was back in the Windows 8 consumer preview days that I created my Microsoft account. That's right. Because I only had my Gmail account at the time, so I just used it to create a Microsoft account, and that was to install something from the then Windows Store in beta, when it didn't even have the Windows logo on the shopping bag. It just was a shopping bag at a 45-degree angle, because that's how Windows 8 did its icons back then. Oh, those were the days. I remember that store, actually. And I was trying to use it on a computer where the sound wasn't working, but pretty much everything else about it worked on Windows 8 Consumer Preview. And it was a Celeron D with only 2 gigabytes of RAM. Anyway, that was when I created my Microsoft account, so yeah. I don't understand why people fight about Android and iOS, like who cares? Exactly! I mean, just use the platform that makes you happy and shut up. That's what I think. I mean, I use what I use. I like iOS. I like both platforms. I actually like all three platforms if you want to count Windows Phone in there. I actually really liked Windows Phone. And if it wasn't for the app shortage, I would have been using Windows Phone. But that's beside the point. It's gone and, out of support now. But anyway. But, no, personally, my preference is iOS at this point since I can't use a Windows Phone. And, you know, Android just it's not my forte. I'm not into really customizing my daily driver phone. I just like it to work. And, you know, honestly, iOS is good for that. So, I mean, yeah, sure, there's the security problems, but Android has them a lot worse, if I'm going to be honest, because all the security updates go through the carrier. And it's up to the carrier to dish them out. And generally speaking, they don't do that unless you have a Google Pixel. So that pretty much just makes like 90% of Android phones utter crap in the security update department. So, yeah, that's my 2 cents on that. Anyway, let's see what's been happening in the chat, because I haven't bothered to bring up my iPad to check it. Should try XP Service Pack 3 on my Dell Latitude CPI. I have. It does run, but it's not exactly speedy. It does run, but it's a little on the pokey side. You run Vista on a Pentium 2. That was only a joke. Vista on a Pentium 2 is pretty painful, so I only did that as a joke. I mean, that machine primarily is probably going to stay on 98. Oh, wait, no, that machine's going to get recycled. That's right. Anyway. Anyway. So, yeah, Discord's working, so that's great. Firefox is working. I'm going to take care of the office stuff off stream because I have to enter in my school account stuff, and I'm not showing that on the internet because that's very bad, obviously. But after that, I don't know what else I install. Maybe Steam, install some older games on this, even though it's only an HD 4000 integrated graphics thing, but whatever. Although I am curious, just to double check. Whoops, wrong command. I believe this only has the Intel HD 4000 graphics in it. I don't believe it has the Quadro. Right, I am correct. It only has the Intel graphics, not the Quadro, which is fine because honestly it wouldn't have mattered anyway. Is this the trusted platform module that needs a special driver? Because I don't know if this has a driver for the trusted platform module. Oh, no, it already does have the driver for it. Oh, shut up. It does have a driver for the trusted platform module, so that I don't know what the hell this is. I don't know. It doesn't matter. Anyway, my Mac laptop has Intel HD 5000. Well, it's probably because yours is a Haswell-based machine, so Haswell had HD 5000. My old computer legitimately has the max RAM of 2 gigabytes, so around the specs of that one, I'd say. Yeah, same thing with my HP A250N. It maxes out at 2 gigs of RAM. So, yeah. At least it's working well, yeah. This thing's actually been a pretty solid machine so far. Very responsive. It has a 7200 RPM hard drive for Tom, since he's just joining in. 7200 RPM hard drive, 8 gigs of RAM. I just did a fresh install of Windows 10. It seems to be running actually very well. So I'm quite happy with it. Seems to be running like a dream. So I definitely can't complain too much. This enter key is still driving me nuts, but that's the least of my worries. I'll go ahead and get paint.net installed because I actually do use that on a regular basis. And the Microsoft Store version is the one I use because it gets auto updates in the background when all the other apps on the store update. I don't have to do the separate updates for the programs themselves, standalone. Oh, am I at the device limit on my Microsoft account? That's going to be stupid. Yeah, it's looking like I'm on my stupid device limit on my Microsoft account, so that's going to be fun to deal with. Alright, shut up. Shut up. I think I'm at my device limit, so I'm going to have to go fix that again. Yay! That's always fun. Manage my Microsoft account, which of course opens up an Edge, but whatever. Yeah, I gotta go manage my devices. I probably have way too many on my account. God damn it. I knew it was gonna happen. See what kind of relics are still on my Microsoft account. I mean, I still have my Windows phone on there. Windows/Xbox is not up to date. I wonder why, because it's a Windows phone. They don't push Windows updates to that anymore. Yeah, it's looking like I'm on my device limit, so that's going to be fun. I'll deal with that off stream again. Because I got to look at all those device names carefully and everything. So, I guess one thing I could technically do real quick is test the optical drive. I haven't done that yet. I'll go grab a CD. It's going to be a music CD, so I'm not going to play anything off of it, but as long as it recognizes it, then I'll just assume that it works. Everybody's favorite artist. Quarterback. Dimeback. Pennyback. Silver dollar back. Definitely ain't Nickelback. $1 dollar back. Definitely ain't Nickelback.
No.
Definitely not Nickelback.
What Nickelback is?
Yeah, what is Nickelback? Is it Nickel Front? Anyway.
Screw this guy.
Oh. Hey, that's a good sign.
Have fun with this.
Alright, so that's enough. I don't want to get copyright striked on my channel already. Oh, I'm not even being monetized, so who cares? But yeah, I definitely don't want to be pushing my luck with that. Especially if I do get my Google AdSense back. Anyway. Because I don't have enough subscribers.
No, so why would you get it back?
Yeah. Well, I mean, the only reason why I would get it back is if I have enough subscribers and enough people watching my videos. If I actually made videos, that is.
What even are videos?
I don't know, it's something that you pop on your TV and you watch. I don't know what they are. I definitely haven't made any videos before.
Nope, never once.
Sarcasm. Anyway.
No, that was completely real.
Completely real. Yep, definitely. Well, I did say I was going to test the webcam, so I might as well test that. See how potato quality that looks. And no. You know, honestly, I was expecting this to be a lot worse. I honestly was. But actually, it's not too bad. 720p webcam. All right. Respectable. Seems to be pretty good, actually. Not too shabby. Yeah, you can see the big chungus I have on the back of my phone here. She's a big chungus. Anyway, that's enough of that. Don't want to make people dizzy. Got more than me when I streamed almost every day. Well, I still have a bunch of archived videos that I could be putting out. I just haven't yet, but that's definitely something I could be doing. Wow, that actually launched YouTube very quickly. Yeah, for some reason, this browses the web a little bit faster than my Ryzen 3 laptop ever did. That's surprising. Anyway, uno momento, por favor. I'm going to laugh if I go to my YouTube homepage and all it shows is the fact that, oh yeah, Jordan's streaming. I'm going to laugh at that. Yep, called it. Your current live streams. Yeah, gee, I wonder why. Anyway, but go to Creator Studio here real quick. I'm getting closer to having 1,000 subscribers. I remember yesterday morning I was at 777, and now I'm at 781. So, I mean, I am still gaining subscribers. But anyway, that's not the point of why I was coming in here. I still do have a fair bit of videos that are still in the queue. They're Ubuntu videos, of course. I just posted this one yesterday. So I still have 1, 2, 3, 4... Whoops, wrong way. 5, 6, 7, 8 Ubuntu videos to publish. So it's not like I'm going nuts about not having videos to upload, but I'm kind of getting towards the end of the queue, so I kind of want to take care of that. get some kind of video editing set up. Although primarily what I'm going to edit video on is going to be this thing, because obviously it's a quad-core hyper-threaded with a lot faster RAM and better graphics and all that fun stuff. So I'm just going to be looking into some video editing software on the PC and something that can at least do something. Although I'll discuss more about that in a separate video. And I don't know if I'm going to use PowerDirector or what I'm going to do. We'll have to see. But I'm going to be sticking to what is free primarily, so it's probably not going to be the best, but as long as it brings content onto the channel, who cares? And then if I do any kind of screen recording, I am going to use OBS, because OBS, OBS does a pretty good job at screen recording, and it is very highly configurable, so I can adjust the audio quality, include 60 FPS, stuff like that, so it definitely works very well for what it is, so I'll probably just use it for screen recording if I do any more videos. I did have plans of wanting to do extra Linux videos on Kubuntu and not just Ubuntu. I was thinking about doing the Kubuntu side of the fence, so I need to put VMware Workstation on this and see how it runs virtual machines. Again, I'll probably do all the licensing stuff off camera, but I will install the trial, actually.
You'll show everyone all your licensing crap.
Definitely. But I'm just going to be curious to see how it would work. I'm just going to download the trial, and I'll put my license key in off stream. So, Workstation Pro 15.0.2 for Windows. So we're going to go ahead and do that right now. I just want the trial. I just want the trial. Can you give me the trial? Like, please. I just want the trial install. That's all I want. Because I'll do the rest later. Go to downloads. Go to this. Would you? God damn it. Seriously? Okay, I guess we'll screw that thought then. I'll do it later. I was hoping to go get a trial download, but they must have updated their website. Or I'm clicking on the wrong link or something stupid like that. Anywho, actually, let me try that again. VMware Workstation Pro. Can I just want the download for the trial, and then I'll put my license off stream. That'd be kind of nice. Okay, there we go. This is the page I was thinking. There we go. There's the trial download. There we go. All right. Yeah, definitely the stream is taxing the network. It would definitely download a little bit faster than this, but it's doing a hell of a lot better than Microsoft Edge was doing. That is a given. So, yeah, I'll primarily probably use this machine for doing all my virtual machine stuff, just because for some reason I have a weird quirk when it comes to my Inspiron, and I'll actually show it live on stream right now, where it doesn't run virtual machines properly. And it's not because of running it on battery power. It just flat out, for some reason, just doesn't like running virtual machines. I don't know what the deal is. So if I come into VMware Workstation Pro here, and I'll use older Kubuntu ISO as an example here. So we're going to go into my CD/DVD settings here, and we're going to try going into Kubuntu 5.04, we'll say. We'll pop that in here, and then we'll hit power on, and watch how the performance is. It's like horrible. And this performs the exact same when plugged in. It's not because I'm on battery power. And also my Intel virtualization technology is currently enabled. I don't know if that's causing it not to run properly. I can't say for sure, but it should not be painting the screen this slowly. And it also should not have input lag like that. So definitely something is wrong. For an 8th gen quad-core i5, it should not be running a virtual machine that slowly. Shut up. I don't care. Shut up. Anyway, so that's that. It's not running virtual machines right. But another weird thing, if I go and use my Windows 10 ISO, which I just used to format and get that thing going, if I go and put that in, and then slap that into a virtual machine to boot up and run, it still is a little slow on the BIOS, but you notice it's a lot faster. I don't know what gives. I seriously don't know what gives. It's like you pop a 64-bit ISO and it runs fine, but then you're running older 32-bit stuff and it just is so goddamn slow it's unusable. It's just the strangest thing. So I don't get what's going on. It's some weird quirk. It has to be BIOS related. I don't know, because I updated the BIOS. I never had VMware on this before I updated the BIOS, so I can't attest to the fact that it could be the BIOS update that caused it. And again, it could be because Intel virtualization technology is turned on, and that could be screwing with the older ISOs. I can't really say for sure. But 64-bit stuff runs absolutely fine. Runs absolutely just fine. But the older stuff, for some reason, it just doesn't work. It just runs so slowly that it's completely unusable. So that's why I'm going to try to use this ThinkPad for doing something like that. And I might try to look into a better CPU. I know this is only a T430s, but I don't remember if these have soldered-on CPUs. If they're socketed, I'll have to look that up, because The CPU that's in this is not a slouch, but it could certainly be a little bit beefier, I guess, if I wanted to. But I'll see how it works. I'll see if I can do some 60 FPS screen recording with it. I should be able to, no problem. Because it's got about the same amount of horsepower as my old MacBook Pro did, which was an i5 5257U, except the newer i5 obviously had better graphics, but this one has about the same raw CPU power because it's a dual-core hyper-threaded chip. Anyway, can I run Crysis? I don't know. I don't own a copy of Crysis, so I can't really tell you. And yes, I know it's a complete joke, but still, I mean, I don't even own a copy of Crysis. I guess I'm not a true gamer. Well, I didn't say it was, so hey, I'm saving my ass. Okay, VMware installation, whatever. And of course, this is Windows 10 Pro, so this should go without a hitch. There's a demo of Crysis on File Planet. Do you really think it's worth putting Crysis on this? I'm not. I don't care. I don't plan on playing games on this. I'm going to play older games, maybe, but I don't really intend on making this a gaming computer. Anyway, accept the license terms. I think the S models are soldered. The T420. I know the T420S has a soldered CPU, but I don't know about the T430S. I'll have to look into that. I mean, if it is a soldered CPU, it's not the end of the world. It still has a pretty good CPU in it. The 3320M is still a fairly solid chip, but yeah. I don't remember. I think the T430S might have the same thing as the T420S. Who knows for sure? Anyway. I guess what I could be doing while I'm waiting is grab this flash drive and copy the Kubuntu ISO onto it from my Inspiron. And I can go on to the root of that. Oh, cool, we're done. All right. Like I said, I'll put in my license key later off stream so people don't see my VMware license. Not like it matters, but still. Oh, is it suffering from that bug where the mouse cursor gets frozen? It probably is. Yep. Of course it is. Okay. So we're going to create a new virtual machine, a custom one with the latest VMware or whatever. I'll install the OS later. This is going to be Linux. This is going to be other Linux 2.6.x kernel. This will be Kubuntu 5.04. 1 CPU core, 256 megs of memory, whatever, that's fine. This needs to be IDE. New virtual disk. Allocate all the space now. 8 gigabytes is fine as a single file. And I need to make sure that the disk when I create it is also IDE, but everything should be IDE. That's definitely family friendly. What the heck is Patrick talking about now? This is why you run your updates, Patrick. Just get your updates done, and then you don't have to worry about it. Also, restart your computer more often, and maybe it wouldn't come up nearly as often. Okay, I'll shut up now. Anyway, all right, my ISO's copied. Now we can go ahead and put into this thing. This thing can go bye-bye. I don't need it anymore. And, is my case going dead? No, it's not. We're good. Okay. Yay. This takes forever. Okay, open folder. That's fine. Oh, whenever this finishes creating the disk, then it won't saturate it. There we go. All right. So we're just going to do this. We're going to take that ISO file, and then we're just going to copy it to Documents and paste it in there. Oh, USB 3.0 is such a lovely thing to have. It really is. Okay. Everything is IDE, thank God. So we're going to use an ISO file, and it is going to be the Kubuntu ISO file. Who'da thunk it, right? And pop that in there. And power on the virtual machine. And to nobody's surprise, bada boom, bada bing. Pretty much damn near instant. So yeah, there's definitely some kind of quirk when it comes to my Inspiron and why it can't run virtual machines. That's just... something's definitely wrong. I only need to investigate it later, but right now all my school software is on it, so I can't be formatting it. At least not without a backup machine. So anyway, so we'll give that a go someday. We'll see how virtual machines run on it. I gotta get OBS installed as well. Kind of think of it, that probably would be a bad idea. Do. Also, I find it hilarious how macOS has a slightly better version than Windows and Linux does. Why? I don't know. Yeah, whatever. Verified publisher Hugh Bailey. I don't know who he is. Why is he verifying my... what is he verifying my software for? Anyway. So. Alright, finish. And there we go.
But you're speaking English.
I mean, I can change into Spanish, but I'll need Google Translate first. That won't look pretty. Anywho, these updates should be done. Yep, they are. Cool. Okay. What's the difference between SATA and IDE? Well, Linux, obviously, at this time, only had IDE drivers. So, yeah. But mainly, IDE and serial ATA is because serial is on a serial-based bus, so on and so forth, and then IDE is its own interface. But anyway. And then we can go and close out of Edge. Oh, no, I can't. I can bypass the Windows activation. Well, good for you. That's definitely legal. It's definitely legal. But anyway, I don't know what else I can really do live on stream. I guess if there's something else that you all want to see, then let me know. Actually, what I am going to do is I'm going to be a smart person. I'm going to grab me a Dew clone because I'm a smart. And I keep myself hydrated. But primarily I'm going to put that ThinkPad up here on the desk, I think, and I'm going to hook it up to my Dell Ultra Sharp. Because probably going to get rid of this thing because I got about as much power in this ThinkPad as I do in that desktop. And, oh, excuse me. It definitely uses a lot less power. So, anywho. Am I missing out on... Jesus. Maybe I'll doingle around in the live chat. We'll see if anybody's in there. That sounds like fun. Oh, look, at least the microphone's working. That's a good sign. The speakers on this thing are really quiet. They're very quiet speakers. Oh, man. How's my mic sounding? I'm on the ThinkPad right at the moment. Quit that. Next thing you're going to be hearing feedback. What is this PT Lolicon Hentai? Who is that? Oh, okay. I was just like, who the heck is this hentai person sitting in my chat room? I'm gonna fix their nickname real quick. Anyway, yeah, am I coming in okay? Seems to be picking up the ding over there, so I mean, it must be. I mean, yeah, if you want to talk, go ahead. I'm not stopping you.
Hi, Jordan.
Yeah, just asking, am I coming in okay?
Yeah, you're coming in fine. It's probably going to be at my end if it's bad.
I primarily blame the speakers because T430s models don't normally have very good speakers. Well, for that matter, the T420 didn't either.
Nope.
But at least the microphones are working. That's what I wanted to test. So that's a good sign. So yeah, definitely this machine's been holding up pretty well. So it's definitely working quite a bit better than my iPad that dinged, so that was nice. Definitely working a little bit better than the Inspiron in terms of virtual machines, so that's a good thing. I still need to look into why the Inspiron's not able to run virtual machines properly. That still drives me nuts. But that sounded bad.
No, that's fine.
I thought I heard something fall for a minute there, so I just like, that sounded bad. Steven was asking, yeah, virtualization turned on in the BIOS. Yeah, and I'll even go double check it right now. These hinges are really tight on this machine. Yeah, I'll even go here into the BIOS and I'll go check it myself. I'm on the fingerprint scanner. Anyway, yeah, we'll go into the BIOS real quick and we'll go check that. Recovery, startup. Is not able to use VMware at all. I don't know. I mean, I don't think Windows 10 Home would be the quirk because technically it's not unsupported. Oh, God damn it. I didn't know that was going to happen. It's my favorite screen. Anyway, so some nice background noise, right? It's my favorite. Anyway, troubleshoot, advanced options, UEFI, restart. Yeah, if I go in here to the BIOS real quick on the Inspiron, yeah, if I come over here to virtualization support, oops, if I can learn to click with the right mouse button, virtualization technology is turned on, and it does also have VT for direct IO, and all that's enabled. And I don't get why it's not working. Because again, it doesn't matter if I'm on battery or if I'm on the power jack, it performs the exact same. So I don't get what the deal is. It just doesn't make any kind of sense. Anyway, so we're just going to exit out of that. So I'm going to blame something to do with the BIOS. I might go check for BIOS updates again tonight just to make sure of that. But whatever. As you can see, it's... Yeah, I just ran a BIOS update here on the ThinkPad T430s, and virtual machines are running absolutely fine. Holy crap, that is one sensitive mic if it's picking up the TV all the way across the room.
All 4 feet of it.
Well, I mean, to be fair, the freaking... What was it that wasn't picking up the mic? Oh, I forget. I think it's... No, Inspiron has an even more sensitive mic, to be fair, but that's just because the stupid sensitivity gain is turned up. Oh, I wouldn't know. Anyway. XP runs pretty good on a Pentium 3, but you probably have too many XP computers, so... Get out of here, Steam. Okay, so yeah, for Steven, I'm going to go ahead and launch VMware again so you can see what's going on. So, as you could have seen, I did have all the virtualization stuff turned on. So here's what I'm going to go show. Let me go swap my ISO over to Kubuntu, which, there we go, Kubuntu, and then we'll power it on. And then, notice this. Look at how slow it is. It should not be painting the screen like an Intel 8088. So something's definitely wrong. And again, this does the exact same thing when I'm on battery and on the AC adapter. And then there's extreme input lag. Well, you're just a lucky bastard then.
Hey, don't call people that.
So either of you got the
Mmm.
unofficial updates to go?
Yeah, that's the screen painting thing I was talking about earlier, and a lot of times. So then if I come down here to shut down, and I'm going to go pop in my Windows 10 ISO. So we'll go pop that in real quick. And this would not work if Intel VTX was not on. I could not use a 64-bit ISO. But then watch this. As soon as I get into this, I mean, the BIOS is definitely not nearly as slow. It still kind of paints the screen. But as soon as it hits Windows 10, it then runs fine. See, it definitely something to do with this. Yeah, see, so as soon as I hit CD-ROM drive and have that start going, and then, boom. Then, as per usual, it's on a NVMe SSD, so it doesn't take very long to load the Windows 10 setup. Yeah, I saw that. But yeah. Yeah, for the moment I am. I'm probably going to wrap it up here pretty quick since I'm pretty much done with setting up the T430s, so...
What should I try next on this G1 or GX150 2000 ME T4?
Yep, see, now we're running just fine on Windows 10, so absolutely nothing wrong with that. So I don't get what's going on. Some bizarre quirk, I couldn't tell you what it's doing. It used to run VMs fine, and then it started doing that, and it hasn't grown out of it ever since, so I don't get what's going on. It is using the CPU, because I heard the CPU fan roaring when I shut the lid. So it definitely was using the CPU for that 64-bit thing. That makes sense, because obviously it has to. So I don't get what's going on with the 32-bit stuff. It's just not taking advantage of it. It's just weird. But then to recap, here is the same ISO on the ThinkPad with a lesser CPU. And boom, damn near instant. So I don't get it. It's just weird. And it's on a mechanical hard drive as well. So I don't know. I don't get it. I'll have to look into it further. I'll have to see if there's other complaints. I know there is, but it's just I'll have to look into it later. Sure, why not? Sounds like a plan to me. But yeah, it seems like it's running well. It definitely should hold up. I don't see why it wouldn't. I mean, it is a used ThinkPad after all, so there's no warranty. But he's a dojo. He's a dojo. Anyway, he's saying sometimes a Windows update might cause that in some way. To be fair, probably yeah, but again, I've been through several different Windows updates on that machine, and it's still doing it, so I don't know. And it's on the latest Windows 10 version 1809, so I don't know. Yeah, because 1903 should be coming out here pretty soon. Yeah, I just do clean installs of 1809. Yeah, it could be anything that's causing that. It could be the BIOS, could be the Intel virtualization thing that's just not communicating with Windows properly. It could be the fact that VMware just doesn't like Windows 10 Home. God knows what it is. I honestly don't know. Because I mean, Yeah, so I don't get what the deal is. I mean, it's turbo boosting just fine. It runs 64-bit virtual machines just fine. So it's just this bizarre quirk of the fact that it just doesn't run a 32-bit VM. It runs a 64-bit VM just fine. So I don't know.
It's the price you paid.
Yeah. Anyway. What, we can't watch? Oh wait, it's a Disney game,
I
so
was gonna say the whole copyright thing.
yeah.
Before you stream, there's literally a freaking button you press on the title screen that says "Before you stream."
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Well, if Jordan gets copyright claim, we'll know why.
I'm not even monetized, so who cares?
You're not even monetized.
I'm not even monetized, so who cares?
Square Enix does.
Okay, let's see.
Yeah. Anyway. Jordan G is like, would you sell it or trade it? No, because my Inspiron 5570 is currently my school laptop, and I just got this one to use around here and all that stuff. Yeah, for virtual machines, for typing up my stuff for class, and who knows, maybe I'll tinker with Linux on it. I don't know. Well, the thing is, well, I don't like typing on the Inspiron. It's horrible. But anyway.
Bye.
Anyway. Beep. Anyway, so I'm going to probably go ahead and wrap the stream up because I don't know what else I'm going to do on stream. I mean, I've already installed Windows. I already installed all my software, and it's running on 2 hours now, so I got to give my phone a break, so. I mean, it's like roasting in my hand. My hands are sweating, so it's definitely not a good sign. Anyway. Oh, that's a nice news notification. We'll just screenshot that. It's nice. It's nice. Anyway, so that's it for now. I'm gonna go ahead and wrap this up. So